Why is iron important for endurance athletics, specifically running, you may ask? Because as endurance athletes, specifically runners, every time we step, like when we're running, every time we take a step on the ground, the force of our foot striking the floor breaks our red blood cells. They like crack in half. That's not the scientific term, but that's what essentially happens. And once they crack in half, they can't repair themselves unless you have heme iron in your blood. So low red blood cells means you're anemic. So if you're breaking them every time you run, you need to replace them every time you finish running. Well, not every time you finish running, but every day you should take iron. Because if you don't and you get anemic or low on iron, you will start running terribly and you will feel awful. Especially if you are a woman, because you are losing extra red blood cells through your period every month. So women endurance athletes really need to take their iron. If you are a vegetarian, you really need to take your iron because you're not getting iron through red meat, which is fine, but you need to be aware of that and you need to replace it in other ways. If you are training at altitude, you really need to take iron because your body's working 10 times harder at altitude to produce red blood cells to make more. That's why you train at altitude, because you want more red blood cells, and that's what happens when you run at altitude. But in order to do that, you need to have iron to help with that process. And if you're not taking iron and you're running terribly, you're probably low on iron. One season in high school, I had been running like 225 in the 800 consistently. And one day I ran a 245 and I was like, something is wrong. And I was right. I was very anemic and I was sucking because of it. How did I find out I was anemic though, you may ask? Because you don't want to just take iron for funsies. You should get a blood test done. I try to get a blood test done for my iron every 6 months to every year. Or if I'm just like feeling not very good, I'll go get it checked out. But you don't want to just get your iron checked because you can like just check that off iron. You need to get your ferritin checked because ferritin is actually the thing that's going to make you feel terrible if your ferritin is low. So when you go to the doctor and ask for a blood test to check if you're anemic, you have to ask them to get your iron levels checked and your ferritin levels. And if either of those is low, you should probably supplement iron. How do I supplement my iron, you may ask? Because I do take it every single day because I'm a woman training at altitude and running a lot. And I don't really eat that much red meat, so I really need to take my iron. And this is how I do it. Ferrous sulfate elixir. This is liquid iron. It's the best form of iron to absorb into your bloodstream. And you can get it from behind the counter. You just go ask the pharmacist for ferrous sulfate elixir. It looks like this, okay? You